Leader.
First, Mr. President, I understand that there's a bill at the desk that is due for a second reading.
The Leader is correct. The clerk will read the title of the bill for the second time.
S5244, a bill making continuing appropriations for fiscal year 2023, extending various health programs and for other purposes.
In order to place the bill on the calendar under the provisions of Rule 14, I would object to further proceeding.
Objection having been heard, the bill will be placed on the calendar.
Okay, Mr. President, last night, Chairman Leahy, Ranking Member Shelby, Chairman DeLauro announced that the appropriators have agreed to a framework for an omnibus agreement that will fully fund the federal government in fiscal year 2023. This is welcome and important news. Congress now has a roadmap for funding the government before the conclusion of the 117th Congress, something the large majority of us want to see. We still have a long way to go, but a framework is a big step in the right direction. A year-long omnibus is by far the best option we have for making sure our kids, our senior citizens, our veterans, our small business, our military members, our defense, and all of the families that benefit from this don't see vital government services lapse or shrink. It means we can fully implement the investments secured. We fought so hard for the PACT Act. We have to fund it. We fought so hard for the CHIPS and Science Act. We have to fund it. A CR will not fund these bills, but an omnibus agreement will, and they were all bipartisan with large support from both sides of the aisle. And an omnibus bill is also a balanced approach because it will contain wins for both sides that both sides want to see, like the Electoral Count Act and funding for our friends in Ukraine. If we can come to an agreement on an omnibus, and I am optimistic that these bills, which are so important to Democrats and Republicans alike, the ECA and funding for Ukraine, can become law. But before we pass a funding bill, we also must ensure the government doesn't first shut down. So we're going to have to pass a one-week continuing resolution ASAP. The House is set to act on a one-week CR as soon as tonight. And when that bill comes to the Senate, we should be ready to act quickly, as soon as tomorrow if we can. The appropriations process, of course, is not over. So the responsible and prudent thing to do right now is pass a one-week CR quickly, without the unwelcome brouhaha that has provoked shutdowns in the past. And remember, as we go through this appropriations process, the experiences of the last decades show that those who risk shutdowns in order to make political points always lose in the end. Now, on Speaker Pelosi. Later this afternoon, I will have the honor, the bittersweet honor, of joining with congressional leaders, past and present, to unveil the official portrait of my dear friend and a great leader, Speaker Nancy Pelosi. Every year, millions come to the Capitol to learn about our democracy and to put a face on the names of history. They walk these halls and see the portraits of speakers from age past, Sam Rayburn, Tip O'Neill, and so many others. But after today, Mr. President, after today, the faces of those male leaders will forever be joined by Madam Speaker. So today's a happy day to celebrate an amazing public servant who had an amazing career. But it's also a chance to say thank you to a dear friend and a beloved colleague. Leader to leader, I will always admire Speaker Pelosi for an important quality that has set her apart. She always keeps her caucus united behind a common goal. She keeps repeating over and over again, has for 20 years, our unity is our strength. That's what she always has said. I have and will continue to repeat the same to my caucus. I yield the floor.